Welcome back.
Yes. So it's an exciting day. It's kind of been, this came a lot quicker than I thought it would.
That's what. That's a good one.
We weren't planning on doing this soon, right?
Right. Correct.
It was gonna happen eventually, but something sped up our timeline. As if we didn't have enough going on the last couple of weeks.
Yes. No kidding.
A couple of issues with our vehicle that is our main vehicle for toting around the kids. A couple of issues came up with it that are making it undrivable.
The main one is air conditioning.
Right.
You have to have, well, you don't have to have it, but it would be really bad to drive
With a baby.
in southern Missouri with 18-month-old twins with no air conditioning.
And being pregnant and having this issue where when I get warm, my blood pressure drops. I could literally pass out while I'm driving.
That's true.
If I get too hot. So anyway, it's just not safe. It's not doable.
So we're using that as a justification. I mean, obviously we could just go get those fixed on our Buick.
But we were gonna get another vehicle anyway.
Exactly. So now we're headed down to a Toyota dealership.
Brad actually hasn't seen this exact vehicle because he was working in the prison where for the first 2 days of the week were the only 2 days that we could get a deal done on this. And so for the first time in my life, I picked out a vehicle.
What? That's the first time in your
Well,
life?
I guess I've done it myself, but like for us.
Yeah, for us. For
Yeah,
sure.
I guess
Yeah.
for the first time in our marriage, I've picked out one of our vehicles. You've basically selected all
The Prius
of them.
and the Enclave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's going to be exciting to see it in person and to drive it.
As excited. Like, this is a minivan. It's like a...
Spoiler alert!
I'm about as excited as I can be for getting a minivan.
Exactly.
Actually, I was all about getting a minivan before the Enclave because I'm not the one that's driving it. I drive the Prius. So Rachel, we got the Enclave because we wanted an SUV, not a minivan. So what changed your mind being pregnant?
I think just seeing how inconvenient the Enclave is and knowing that we're going to need to access that third row soon.
Yeah.
So if we would have gone longer before having a third kid, the Buick worked perfectly, and it worked great for the time that we had it.
It's a really nice car. Like, I'll miss it. It's really nice.
Absolutely, like it was a great vehicle. All you OG subscribers that back when we were purchasing the Enclave were like, just get a minivan. You're all like, yes, I told you.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
and deservedly
you were
so.
You were right. You were right. Yeah, just a few things about the Enclave. I hate driving it because it's like driving an SUV.
And that's why I like it. You're like off the ground, you're king of the road.
It's hard to park.
Smooth.
It has blind spots. I guess a minivan, I've heard, we literally bought this thing sight unseen. I've never drove a minivan, so I hear that they drive more like a car. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm the one driving that vehicle predominantly. And then the fact that like not too far in the future, Bear and Lindell will be able to open their own doors, and I don't want to worry about them slamming their door into the car next to us.
Which a lot of the subscribers pointed that out about the Enclave.
Never would have thought of that until that time came, so that'll be nice to have the minivan in that situation.
Yes.
A minivan. I can't believe we're doing it.
I can.
But yeah, it's kind of nice because we had to arrange picking up this minivan, and so it allowed for me to spend an extra couple hours with him. We have been trying to figure out how we could have a date like in the last couple of weeks before Brad left.
But with buying the new house, like we've literally been working until like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, like unpacking and sorting and all that bad stuff, all that good stuff. So it just didn't work out. So we didn't get a date.
Didn't have time to have a date.
But
so
this is kind of like
this could be our date.
Yeah, this is our date.
Yeah. So that was kind of behind the scenes in that clip that I was burned at the stake for when I was upset about the delays in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Is that dramatic saying burned at the stake?
Yeah.
So that was in the back of my my mind that I couldn't say because we didn't want to be like, Brad's leaving for 2 weeks from this date to this date. I think I just spit when I said that. Like, we don't want that to be public knowledge. So we were waiting until kind of the last minute, and that's sort of why our vlogs have been so far behind too, because we just didn't want that to line up perfectly with Brad's trip, and just, I don't know, that was what made me more comfortable. So I couldn't come out and say, the longer we get delayed on getting in the house, every single day is one less day that I have him to help us get settled in the house.
Exactly. So I can't imagine if we would have moved this last weekend.
I know, when we closed, if we wouldn't have been able to move in early, we would have had like 3 days to get. It would have been horrible. It would have been really bad. Like, things would have been in absolute chaos when Brad left, and it would have just been much harder for me.
It all worked out.
It all worked out fine. But anyway, that was part of the drive for that emotional breakdown. Right. I'm still defending myself on that.
Yeah, so all of those that commented, and I hope you feel bad that Rachel was being dramatic.
And I was being dramatic. I admitted it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Anyway.
But yeah, it was just a huge stress relief to be able to move in when we wanted to, or when we needed to, I guess you should say.
Yeah, this whole 2 week, it's not a deployment. 2 week active duty feels like a deployment. This makes my heart really, really hurt for people who have husbands who deploy or wives who deploy. I can't imagine being gone for 6 months or a full year. I know, and especially at this stage in our life with kids this age, I just cannot imagine missing a chunk of their life larger than a couple of weeks right now. Yeah. That just makes me really sad for
so thank you to the military families that have to go through this.
Yeah, sure. This is just a small little glimpse of what that's like, and I mean, we choose to be military. It's not like this is a forced thing.
It's definitely worth it. I mean,
yeah,
no question about it.
And I kind of miss the active duty military life too, like what we had in Beaufort, and kind of the romantic, where are we gonna live next type thing. That was kind of fun. The reserves has its own challenges of like being gone for a weekend at a time here and there, whereas when we're stationed somewhere, you don't necessarily have that. No. I guess you have overnight duty. Right, for one night. Yeah, but I don't know, it's different, but it still has its sacrifices being a reserve family. So anyway, thanks Brad for your service. Thanks for sacrificing 2 weeks.
No need to comment, thank you for your service. But thank you.
The fingers are ready to type. Okay, let's get back to our date.
Let's go to Jimmy John's.
Ooh.
Are we going to Jimmy John's?
Yes.
I'm reading the very fine print. How would...
That's very fine.
I mean, we might get some referrals.
Anything on there you don't agree with?
I'll tell you in about 4 hours.
Yeah, right. That's funny because when I'm giving an eye exam and we get to the part where they're reading the near card, the 20/20 line is so small, and my go-to line is, there's nothing in the real world that's actually that small. So if you can read that in here, then you're gonna do well with anything out in the real world. Unless you're buying a car.
I tell them that they're gonna be able to read their medicine bottles. A lot of people complain about that.
Yes, well, the 20/20 line for our standards is smaller than a medicine bottle even. But this is probably 20/20.
Oh, yeah. That's tiny.
Letters.
That is tiny.
Very tiny. It's a good savage of paper. What's the word? What's savage? The good. What is the word for? It's a good preserver.
Yeah. Brent Leach on location.
My name is Rach.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think it's funny because our email is Brad and Rachel E. But I think people think it's Brad and Rochelle. Yeah, so they spell your name R-A-C-H-E-L-E. Yeah, that's true. A lot of Rach is short for Rochelle. It's actually Rachel. Just Rachel. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's everything we could have hoped for. Yes, it is. Let me turn it on. It has a few bells and whistles here. Like, we're gonna try to get my phone hooked up to it. I wonder if like text messages come through it. I would imagine, yeah. so you're just completely hands-free. That would be nice. This is getting kind of sad because we're in our final moments before Brad leaves.
I know. All right, get your phone all set up.
Yep.
You are ready for a road trip.
Oh, so exciting.
Well, I'll see you tonight via FaceTime.
That's true.
Text me every day.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you. I miss you.
I miss you too, honey. All right, come visit me.